Welcome back, Aventon e-bike lovers. Is it Aventon or is it Aventon? I don't know. Either way, glad you're here. Today we're going to cover all the modifications and the things that I've changed on this bike to make it my very own, or what my shirt says, I've made it slightly above average. Let's get into it. Now, we all know these bikes look great right out of the gate. You don't even have to do any additions or modifications to your bike to really enjoy it. But if you're like me, and if you're watching this video, you probably are, you wanted to make changes or additions to make the bike more comfortable for you, or to make it more unique, or just to make it function better in your daily life. And that's what this video is about. This is the Hafney Bar End Mirror, and I used to have one that like connected up here and then went around, but when it came down to it, I just didn't, there were features that I didn't like about it. I like the fact that this one's simple. It just screws on the end. You can tuck it away when traveling. You can adjust it, and it makes it very simple for you to be able to see what's behind you. This is the Ceco-USA 1000 lumen rechargeable removable headlight. We all know the Aventon comes with its own headlight, but this one actually pulses, and that's what I wanted to use it for. Basically like daytime running lights as I drive and ride around during the day. Works really well at nighttime because it has different functions and different brightness levels. This is my GoPro mount. It's actually the official GoPro bicycle mount that you can get. I do like the fact that it'll rotate 360 degrees, but really in this configuration, I don't rotate it at all. Let's talk about this phone holder. Now, the reason I got it is because all you do is just put your phone up in there and see how things open up. So you just boom, slap. I would show you, but I'm actually using my phone to make this video. This is why I love it. Plus, you can angle it. So when the glare starts hitting it, if the sun hits it right, you can just boop, just turn it back. I also had an issue, wasn't really even like an issue with them. I just needed more of these. And the company sent me a whole other holder, which was amazing. So I have a spare in case this one ever breaks. Now, none of these things would be possible if I didn't add this KBrotech handlebar extender. And there's different ones out there, and they're different sizes and they're different widths. This one has allowed me to mount these three things up here with no issue. So if you're looking for one, I know this one fits the Adventure. This is the Greallthy, if I even said that right, bell. And I had a different one on here, but it was much wider. And I like the fact that this one's just like more vertical straight up. It's also higher quality, makes a good noise. You can hear it pretty well. And it just seems more solid and better built than other ones that I've put on here. So this is my second bell, and I'll be keeping this one for sure. I also wanted to make my handlebars rise up and come back. So I got this Fomtor 31.8 inch adjustable stem, and it took a while for me to, getting it on's pretty easy, but getting that adjustment right, like you have to ride the bike, take it out multiple times to get the adjustment, to figure out where you're going to be happy with your handlebars coming back and how far up you want it. Also, you're going to have to relocate your light that you have here on the front. If you notice, if you look at your bike now and you don't have one of these, it goes right here. And this clamp will not allow it by the way that it's built. So just move it to the right or move it to the left. And for me, it's made a world of difference when it comes to my lower back and riding this bike. When I bought my bike, I purchased it from Aventon, and then I had it shipped to my local bike shop who put it together. They were an Aventon dealer, but at the time they didn't have any because, you know, supply issues. Either way, I was able to order it from them, ship it to the bike place. They put it together for me, and it took me a few months before I realized that it even had this feature. Check it out. There is a USB slot right here built into the back of your display. So I got a 12-inch cord, and then boom, I just plug it into my phone on these long trips. Now, it is not going to recharge your phone, but it will trickle charge it and basically keep it from draining. So if you start off with 20% battery life, you're probably still going to have maybe 19 if you go on a very long trip. I used it for that 53-mile trip that I did, and it worked great. Like I said, it won't charge your phone, but it'll keep it from dying. I get a lot of questions about this. This is a Foldylock. The great thing is you know, it fits very nicely where your water bottle would go. And since I go in Chicago to a lot of different places, I want to be able to lock it up real quick. So it's perfect for locking your front tire to a pole, or I can use it and secure the back wheel to the frame. It's not long enough to do the front because this is very thick, but it will connect the frame through the back tire so nobody can steal it. And it's super easy. Just make sure you bring the key. I'm able to hook and unhook within minutes. I love it. I use this thing all the time. Let's talk about this. This skid plate is pretty awesome. Now, I didn't really think about it until after I hit my first mountain bike trail with it. And you have those cables underneath there, and I bottomed out a couple times. Well, actually more than a couple times. Had a lot of pedal strikes, and I bottomed out on these trails, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm damaging these cables. And I saw where a guy on eBay makes these skid plate, and it either comes in like this carbon fiber look or all black. I wanted the all black, but at the time that was sold out, so I took the carbon fiber look. I like it. Either way, it's super simple to hook up. He has directions on how to do it. It's relatively cheap. The link is on eBay. I'm giving you all the links in the description to all this stuff so that you can modify your bike as well. I'm excited about hitting my next mountain bike trail with this shield, as I won't be worried about my cables that are underneath. Let's talk about pedal strikes and what I've done. I've shortened the crank. So this is actually a shorter crank. It's a 152 millimeter. This is the original 48 sprocket. So I didn't change that. I changed this to 152 millimeter and then got new pedals. And let me show you why. Here is the original one that comes with your bike. It's longer. I had pedal strikes on it. I haven't had a single pedal strike since I shortened this. And I figured since, I banged this one up from pedal strikes or the mountain bike trails or whatever, the adventures that I've had, figured what a great time to get me a new set of pedals. And this is what that looks like. To make this work, to take this off and do it yourself, it takes a certain tool. I'm going to leave that tool. I'm going to show you that tool in the link. But it was very simple, guys. I did the other side first because there was no sprocket to it, just to make sure I knew how to do it. I probably had this switched out within a half hour and the new pedals on. All right, let's talk about this. This is the Redshift seat suspension. It was a choice between that or the Ceco one, which is right there. And the reason I chose this is because that Ceco one had like that hole in the middle. And for some reason, I just felt like I would never have a reason to have my finger in that hole. But for just some reason, I kept seeing it and didn't like it. This one, because I weigh 230 pounds, 235, I had to get the heavier spring. And if you guys notice, I live in Chicago, right? So they steal our seats a lot. So what I did with that is I filled it with wood putty and then I painted over it black. So they wouldn't be able to unhook my clamp very easy. I never adjust my seat, so when the time that I do, well, it's going to take a few minutes because I'll have to use my Dremel tool to dig it out. But at least I don't worry about having my seat stolen. Speaking of seat, this Medicus Air. Now, I tried a Cloud9 seat. You can see, this is where I wrecked. I tore it, but it's still in good shape. I tried a Cloud9 seat, and actually I tried a couple of them. I either didn't like the look or the feel or something. Those are great seats, but for me, this is a men or women's seat and has a little vent thing in there. I don't know, this is what I used for the 53-mile trek and really for the over 700 miles I've put on this bike so far without any issue. I like it. I like how it looks. Still has that mountain bike feel. And there we go. If you notice, I change up my configuration every once in a while. Last time I did a video, I had fenders on here and I didn't have the rack. I wanted to carry my spare battery, so I mounted the rack. And if you watched my 53-mile video, you'll remember that we had an issue with this rack. This rack is from Aventon. You can get it straight from their website. You have to tell them the size bike that you have. This is a large, and they have racks specifically for the size of your bike. Install is very easy. It has a max weight of 55 pounds, and as you can see, I have these bungee cords here connected to it. This is actually my second rack, and the reason being, once you put it together, you're supposed to tighten these up to keep this rack from unhooking from the weight. So as you bounce around, weight shifts to the back and it can pull these pieces out, which is exactly what happened. And the reason that did, they tell you, just tighten these up and it will keep it from moving back. Well, my first one, I tightened it up and I actually snapped it. So this one, I didn't tighten it up as much, and then the battery, then it just kind of disconnected. I don't want to break another one because these things are like 55 bucks a piece. So what I've done is I've taken these small bungee cords and I've hooked them to here to keep this from moving back. So if it does get loose from all the shaking around, it's not going to pull back. It's not even that obtrusive. Before we talk about the bags, look, if there was just some way to put like a cotter pin, like a little, I'm afraid to, I want to like drill a tiny hole and put a cotter pin in there, because if you do, then this wouldn't ever come unhooked. And that would be a super nice and easy solution. I want to try it, but I also don't want to trash this thing out. So I'll probably, who am I kidding? I'm going to try it. If these brackets didn't unhook, if these rods didn't come out, it'd be a no problem at all. But that would be my, for you guys at home, that would be my solution to fix that problem. You have it tight, but if it ever loosens up, it doesn't unhook. Because when this did, I had the battery, it came all the way down to here. And I was like, ooh. So yeah, there's a fix. We just need somebody to do it. This is the Rock Brothers bag. Whenever if I choose to use a bag, this is the one that I'm going to go with. Now, it will not fit your spare battery, which I did a video talking about what bags will work for your spare battery. This is not one of them. One of the things that I like about this is the panniers. Right? It'll just fold on down, boom, and you have that extra storage. For me, since I live in Chicago, I don't want to hook and unhook this all the time. And before you guys come at me in the comments, I know there's that kind that just clip and unclip, and you can get the adapter for it. I don't remember what it's called. If I know that I'm just going to take a long trip and I don't want to just carry my backpack, I seldom carry water. That's why I wasn't worried about this, because if I'm going on a long trip, I carry a backpack that has a camelback in it, like I did on that 53-mile trek. But normally in Chicago, if I can't fit it in my backpack, then I end up taking a car. But this bag is great if you're going to do a long trip, want panniers. If you live in an area where you can actually leave something like that for a hot minute and then load it up with your goods or whatever that you need, I still like having it. It is a quality bag. This was like the second or third one that I purchased when I was looking for bags. And it's been, for what I've used it for, it's been a great bag. One of the things I do like about it is these, like I had my drone in here for like the mountain bike trek, and I was able to tighten everything up, although the mountain bike trail did beat the crap out of this bag and the drone, and it has a rain protector sheet right here. That's when I decided that, yeah, carrying my drone is going to be a lot more simpler just putting it in my backpack. And that is it. This is all the changes that I've made to my bike, which really, it didn't seem like a long list at first until I started adding up the list to find the links to make sure that you guys had what you need if you found something on this bike that you wanted to put on yours. And that list was a little bit longer than what I expected, to be honest. For future mods, I'm also looking at replacing my grips. And my grips are fine as long as I'm doing anything under 20 miles. After that, I always wear grips, bike grips, for those longer trips. But most of the times I'm just cruising in Chicago, running some errands. When I do those longer trips, I wear the gloves. I am looking at different grips to replace these with, and I know I've seen some of them that are like long and flat and they pop up. I don't know. I don't like the way they look. So more research will be on that when I figure it out. Of course, I'm going to do a video on it to let you guys know. For the seat post, it does take a shim. You'll see in the description where I have the shim that you would need right with that as well. So there you go, guys. I hope you found some value in this video. Now, if you have any other ideas on videos, just hit me up in the comments. I'll see if I can knock it out for you. But until then, happy riding, and I'll see you on the next video.